Thank you everybody for coming back after lunch. We had some really interesting talks and discussions earlier on maybe some aspects of maintenance that wouldn't immediately come to mind. I think it's been really fascinating seeing how the concept of maintenance applies to other parts of life, from Buddhist temples to all sorts. It's been great. This session is, as you can see, looking at information maintenance and truth and narrative on the web. And I think one of the things we were sort of aiming this session around is the kind of tension between truth and lies and science and belief that has always been at the heart of human society. But with new technologies, the movable type press, radio, television, and now the internet, have come new challenges, I think, over which views get airtime, how organizations manage the truthfulness of information in their domains, and how we construct a public discourse that maintains the culture and society we all want to see. And the internet can be an astonishing source of information and an archive of human life. And we had some hints at that in the chat before lunch, around things like archive.org and Wikipedia and the Flickr Foundation, as we're going to hear. But the internet isn't neutral. It has become increasingly clear that truth and narrative require vigilant investment and maintenance. You don't just get this stuff for free. And so that leads to a question of like how you maintain this truth and how you tell the story of how we got here. How do we construct and make sense of the world around us? How can we use the strengths of modern technology to weave a narrative that takes us forward for centuries to come, not just looking back? And so joining us to discuss these topics are three amazing speakers. We've got Andy Dudfield, James Higgott, and George Oates, and we'll be hopefully hearing from them in that order. I'll give a quick intro to who they are, and then we'll maybe get cracking with Andy. Andy's the head of automated fact checking at Full Fact, and he'll be talking about his work making facts part of the web. And the importance of feeding, watering, and maintaining good information. And then we'll move on to James. During the pandemic, as I think everybody knows, like at least a million people a day came to the NHS website for information about COVID-19. And James is going to be talking about how the team there managed this content, how they kept it accurate and easy to understand, and of course, clinically safe. And then finally, George Oates, who's heading up the new Flickr Foundation, which strives to be a steward to billions of photos that are on Flickr for the next 100 years and beyond. And she'll be talking about practices of maintenance and stewardship in her work. And then I think that will lead us into a more open discussion. So as the speakers are going, if they've got any questions, as ever, pop them in the chat. Just make sure when you're sending the question, it's to everyone so that everyone can see the questions. And I think that's probably everything we need to know. Maybe over to you, Andy.